Welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray, brought to you proudly by Tennessee Wildlife Resource Agency, Barton Power Sports, Sportsman's Warehouse, and Best Care Home Services.
Hey, good Saturday morning. Welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray on this first Saturday in November, which means that Dave Gabbert is still here. He was here when we started, and he's still here. That's
we're back on there. Huh?
That was Bill Cooksey's noise he was making earlier. You know, Bill is trying to. I knew you were supposed to be here. Of course, Gene Smith is dealing with some family health issues, and Bill Cooksey couldn't be with us last week, so we moved him to this week, and he'll be back later in November with us again, and appreciate both you guys
then
sitting
we can talk about dead ducks.
We're going to talk about ducks. That's what we're going to talk about, buddy. It won't be long. It won't be long. And I have purchased my Arkansas license. I'm still working on that Mississippi if I can afford it. You know, I've got to put it down. It gets expensive.
What's Mississippi now?
Huh?
What's Mississippi now?
I don't want to tell you. We'll talk after the air. Okay? All right, let's talk a little bit of deer hunting right now in West Tennessee. And like I said, this is opening day of the muzzleloading season in Tennessee. Black powder, whatever you want to call it, primitive weapon. I heard somebody say it's not no weapon.
It's muzzleloading.
It's muzzleloading. Okay, that's
because you can't really say black powder anymore because all of the synthetic.
Okay. It's muzzleloading season.
It's muzzleloading.
He's corrected me again. But as soon as the show's over, I'm heading up to the McCrory International Farm, as I talk about it, out of Whiteville. To be up there this morning to hunt a little deer if I can. And once I kill that deer, I'm heading to Laconia, Tennessee.
It was still there this morning when I come through.
It was.
In fact, the lights were up there. Scott's lights up on the hill was still on.
Well, it's on all the time.
They can't run us off. We're still here.
That's Scott Stengel on the line with us from where I take my deer to get processed and where I hope you take your deer to get processed, right in Laconia near Summerville on Highway 64. You can't miss it. It's at the top of the hill. Make a right, then go back around and take it home. That's what I say right now. But good morning, Scott.
How you doing, Larry?
All right, buddy. I saw let's see, it was on Thursday. I checked the deer kills and for the state. And, in fact, I even read it in the Commercial Appeal, which stunned me, that they had something about deer hunting on a Thursday's newspaper, that we're down about 2,000 from last year. And I know you as a deer processor, the weather's been, for bow hunting, has been hot, cool, hot, and rain. So give us an idea of where you stand right now as we go into today's muzzleloading season. Are you up, behind, or what?
We're a few numbers behind, but as far as percentile, as far as what we go with, as far as the kill in the county, we're just right on. So the county's down, I think, about 80 to 90 in the county.
Yeah.
So, which is pretty good amount when you're only at 220 killed. So something around that. I hadn't looked at it this morning, but that's close.
That's close enough.
You know, it's down quite a bit. I don't know if it's just lack of hunters. Everybody's seen a lot of deer. The deer are healthy. I just think that people aren't out hunting like they used to.
Well, we hope that, for your sake, I hope it changes. For my sake, I hope they're saving them for me down there, to get mine. But I know
we're not too worried about it because we get plenty of them. So I have to talk these guys into helping me all year anyway. So we're good.
You're good. Well, talk about the healthiness of the deer.
We've had some big deer. We've had some big ones, Larry, and they're healthy. I mean, good quality deer. Even the doe, I haven't seen anything with any disease whatsoever.
Good.
I'm not too worried about the CWD around here as of now if everybody sticks with not bringing into the state boned animals and just keeping it at bay.
That's the key here because we know in recent days that there has been confirmed chronic wasting disease in Pontotoc, Mississippi, which is not very far from Memphis. South about 140 miles or something along that line. I'm not really for sure how Pontotoc is, but in Johnson County over in Arkansas near Clarksville, they have had another report. I didn't realize that Arkansas has had 16 confirmed reports of CWD. And I know we've talked about this before, but you need to relate it again to those folks. Arkansas had their muzzle-loading season last weekend, if I'm not mistaken. And our borders are still closed, right, Scott?
All right. To any state in North America or any province.
Yes, okay.
So anything that comes into the state lines has to be deboned, any cervid.
And deboned, by that, you mean?
Zero bones,
That's
not
it,
just
buddy.
quartered. It's zero bone.
And that's we're like sitting in a. Now, I know that Kentucky, Virginia, other bordering states, Mississippi, Arkansas, Missouri. You can look at these things. We're kind of as they use in the election, those colored maps. You know, we're
Right.
kind of sitting there as a target area that has been
Right.
able to, as far as we know. And I didn't know this. Now, and Cooksey probably ought to know this because he's big into conservation and everything like that. 1967 was the first confirmed case of CWD. And
I didn't know the year.
Bill has been barking on this 6 decades ago. 6 decades ago.
Mm-hmm.
And now we're talking like it's never been here before.
Right.
So you as a deer processor, you got to be careful. You told us earlier that you had to make some adjustments. So tell our listeners how that has affected you as far as your business.
Well, it really, I haven't seen anybody squawk over it, Larry.
Nobody squawked over it.
Everybody's understanding. They want to preserve the sport of deer hunting, and I think they know to do that there's going to be change.
Yes, yeah. And you had to make some changes not only in your price, but also your European mounts, as we call them.
Right. Right. We're actually letting Chris Knight is, and
good.
You know Chris Knight real well. He's a great guy, and he's picking him up here at the shop and taking them to his facility where they'll be separated from the meat, and our hunters can still pick them up here at our facility when they're finished.
That's great. Yeah.
So nothing's really changed other than we're just outsourcing them to Chris.
And that's Shelby Forest Taxidermy, our good friend Chris
Right.
Knight, who will be on later in the month to talk a little bit about what he does. But, Bill, here's your chance. Now, we've talked about this CWD till we're red in the face and everything. And I know we had a real healthy discussion on Facebook recently with John Sloan, who doesn't mind expressing how he feels.
That's right.
So, your take.
Well, as I said
And
on Facebook,
I want Scott to listen to this.
I'm not a scientist. I'm not a biologist. I am nowhere near an expert or authority. But I have, just through what I do, sat in on several meetings.
Yes, you have.
Where those authorities from out west, from up north, from these universities and different game and fish agencies where it's been a big issue, get together and really get heavy on the science. And I'll tell you, my takeaway: those guys are scared to death.
Yeah,
I mean they're literally their worst case scenario, and hopefully that's not going to happen. But their worst case scenario is we're going to see the end of deer hunting. Now, I can't imagine that being the case, but several of those experts, we have the potential right now to be facing the end of deer hunting if we don't find a way to turn this thing back.
Okay.
So
All right.
that's the worst case scenario.
All right, Scott.
And none of those guys will say 100% that it will never be able to be transferred to humans. It can't right now. It never has. But it has the potential down the road. It's not something I'm worried about. I killed a deer last week, and I ate some of it last night.
Yeah.
So
okay.
So I would say all that and still say I still eat deer, and I'm not concerned about it. Okay. But it's something to really keep your eye on in the future.
Okay, now, Scott, you as a processor, you've talked to your other processors and things along that line. He's just given the worst-case scenario. You guys are doing your best, I know, to follow the rules, follow the regulations. We know that somebody is going to be dumb enough and bring one in sometime.
Right.
But you as processors, I mean, you got to be eagle-eyed now, don't you? I mean, you have to let and I like to do this on this show, is we got to let the public know the worst-case scenario, but at the same time, think positive. Right, Scott?
That's right. And I think to do that is just, you keep that animal from out of state deboned, and that's all we can do. If nature brings it into the state, there's nothing we can do about it. And that's where the scare of the biologist, that's where that comes from.
Right.
And,
yes. Uh-huh.
And if they ever find out that it is transferable to humans, then that's, that will probably be the end of deer hunting as we know it, for sure. But, and it goes deeper than that, what is the fix to that? If it's into deer hunting, if the animal still has that disease, what it spreads on to the, it goes deeper than what we can even talk about on this show today, Larry.
Yeah, right. and we've been talking about this over 6 decades. That's what really blew my mind. We always thought, well, that's not going to happen here. It's out west.
Well, we didn't have enough deer until 30 years ago for it to be a concern. I mean,
that's true. And your comments on this,
no, it's
Mr. Gabbard, as we end this segment with Scott?
Well, like I said, it's 6 decades. And if you and sometimes in the animal world, you've got diseases that travel really quickly.
Yes. Uh-huh.
And then you've got some that travel a lot slower. So it would be interesting to track those over those 6 decades from ground zero, the spread of it.
In Colorado.
Per capita population, too,
right.
Keeping that in mind.
Yeah, well, 6 decades ago, we were still sending telegrams, so, I mean...
well, see, I wasn't born then. I wasn't born until 68, so I'm not as old as you fellas.
Can we cut that out? Could we cut that out of the show?
He's a year younger than me.
Yeah, you pups and everything.
I was born the year they found CWD.
Really? Now we know where the root cause
I brought it
now.
Yeah, it's one of the Cooksey 8s or whatever that was. So,
we're in bad shape then. Huh?
I know when you went out to Pacific Northwest with Lewis and Clark, y'all ate about 8.5 pounds of meat a day.
No,
did you happen to see anything?
No, I don't have any recollection of that. I think I was too many senior modes. Scott, so tell the listeners where you're located, what time you open, what the hours are today. You're going to be out there, I know, opening up early today.
Yeah, we'll be here. It's 8 to 6, 7 days a week, except for Thanksgiving and Christmas, and that's from here on out. From opening muzzleloader today, and we'll be here 7 days a week.
Okay, folks, go out and visit with Scott. Take your deer out there. I guarantee you'll get yours back. It'll have been hung for at least 5 days, right, Scott?
That's right.
And it's in a cooler. It's all clean and everything. I'll see you after a while, Scott, okay?
All right. Good luck, Larry.
All right, buddy. All right, let's take a break. Coming right back on Outdoors with Larry Ray. Let's talk BB guns, Nick. I love to do this. This is fun. We'll be right back.